is someone who's asked before, and so this person is obviously got into it. You got into, haven't you? En bloc, using terms like en bloc capsulectomy. So she's got an implant in. She's had it. It's 11 years old. Pain, wants it removed, and an uplift. Also worry because they're Silomed implants. I won't worry too much about that. I think Silomed are good implants. They were removed from the market a few years ago because of some problem with them in the factory in America. There was some cotton particles on them, so they closed them down and they never opened again. But I don't think there's anything particularly wrong with the implants. I won't be too worried about that. But this patient has got a rupture, and she's saying, I've been told or I've heard that an en bloc capsulectomy is the thing to do. So I've been going back and forth about, one of the problems, and one of the problems is going on the internet and going onto forums and what have you, is people will try and tell you it's black and white. And they'll say en bloc capsulectomy is the thing to do. In case you don't know what an en bloc capsulectomy is, when you have an implant, it gets surrounded by a capsule. All implants are surrounded by a capsule. Everybody in the world with an implant has got a capsule around the implant, scar tissue around the implant. That's what the body does. It walls off a foreign body into scar tissue. That's normal. Um, Over time, that capsule can get hard. That's when you get a capsular contracture, and that's why you might need a capsulectomy for the capsular contracture, because that capsule goes hard when you remove that capsule. Now, you can either try and chisel out that capsule, and then often at the last minute will take out the implant so it sort of becomes like a cyst, and then cut out the rest of the capsule wall. Or we can do an en bloc capsulectomy, which means we take out the capsule with the implant in it as one unit, and then you can open it and get the implant out. So that's an en bloc capsulectomy, where you take it out with the implant in it, as opposed to making a hole in the capsule, taking the implant out, and then removing the capsule. Um, and also, there are different types of capsulectomy you can do. You can do a total capsulectomy or a partial capsulectomy, obviously all of it or part of it. You can do a capsulotomy, where you score the capsule. Now, you can understand on paper why this person has been told that an en bloc capsulectomy is good for ruptured implants. Because if you've got a ruptured implant inside a capsule, you might understand in your mind it's better just to take it out. When in the capsule, you take it all out so you don't get any of that ruptured implant mess. You just take it all out as one block, and then you can open it and just have a look at the implant sort of on the table next to you, so you don't get any of that silicone about the place. So I can totally understand why someone might be saying to you an en bloc capsulectomy is good, but maybe I should just leave it at that. But well, the reason I'm not leaving it at that is because if you're going to come and see me or see us for the surgery, then I'd probably have a discussion with you about that. Because first of all, the question is, do you need a capsulectomy? Because this patient in particular is not having implants put back in again. She's having the implants removed and a lift. And whenever you do a capsulectomy, you remove a little bit of breast tissue. And obviously, you had implants in back in the day, so you wanted bigger breasts. Now, you might be happier having your breasts back down to the level they were, but if you're going to remove a little bit of breast tissue when you do the capsulectomy, then you may even smaller. So when you do a capsulectomy, you do remove a little bit of breast tissue, and the main thing for doing a capsulectomy is if you've got a capsular contracture. So if you've got a hard implant and a hard scar tissue around the implant, then particularly if you're putting new implants in, you would do a capsulectomy. You would remove that scar tissue. If you're not putting implants in, it's less important. Maybe if it's really hard and it's calcified, maybe. But if it's really soft, you don't need to remove the capsule. Furthermore, it's actually really hard to do a capsulectomy if the capsule isn't hard. If the capsule's rock hard, like if you've got a really thick, hard capsule, you can see that capsule and you can take that out and you can find a plane between the breast tissue and the capsule, and it's sort of relatively easy to do. If the capsule's really gossamer thin and really sort of paper thin, it's really hard to find a plane between that and the breast tissue. You keep on buttonholing it, it just comes off in your hands, and you're more inclined to take even more breast tissue. So I say, well, why are you even trying to remove that capsule? And you might say, I'm worried about ALCL or what have you like that, so I need to biopsy it. Well, then you just need to take a part of the capsule. If you have got any problems, it'll be the hardest part. Or if there's a lump there, then definitely you can biopsy that. But to do a total capsulectomy in a thin capsule can actually be really hard. So it can be, and it can actually cause more harm than good, because why are you doing it? You're not putting another implant back in. You're potentially going to remove some breast tissue when you do that capsulectomy. So it's not all easy. The other thing when you do an en bloc capsulectomy, you'd only really do an en bloc with a really hard capsule. You wouldn't do it if it was a soft capsule because, well, you couldn't do it if it's a soft capsule. So if you've got this rock hard capsule and you're making a 4 or 5 centimeter incision in the skin, presumably using your own scar, it can actually be quite hard to take that out en bloc if it's a really hard capsule through the incision. Because obviously, when the implant went in, it's soft and squishy, and you can put an implant, a big implant, in through a smaller incision. But if you're doing an en bloc capsulectomy of this big block, it's actually hard to get it out of the body through that incision. So you either have to make the incision bigger or open it and get the capsule out. Get the implant out, and then you can get the capsule out. So if you want to see a nice photograph of an en bloc capsulectomy, you might not see that because we might have taken the implant out before taking the whole capsule out because we couldn't get it out through that incision. Now, obviously, taking the implant out before getting the whole capsule out can make a mess if you've got a rupture. And I think this is what this patient's worried about. Yes, it can, and we often have to wash out and things, but that's just the case of a ruptured implant. You wash out, you change your gloves. That's the way to go. But it's not as easy as you might think. It's not just you might think, oh, obviously I need an en bloc capsulectomy because I've had a rupture. It's when you start talking to the surgeon, it's all very well going on forums and asking people from someone who's not going to do the operation an opinion. We can all give opinions, but when it gets to the guy, you're sitting in front of the guy doing the operation, you might find there's a different story then. You're like, hold on a minute, you run an en bloc capsulectomy, you've got a really soft capsule. I don't know if I can do it, or if I did, I'm going to take away breast tissue. What's the point? Why are we doing this? It's not like having another implant put in again. So it's not black and white. Good. It's a really good point. I like this, getting into it. See how hard it is for us. It's not easy, this game. It's all going on up there. You may think that we're just putting implants in and doing tummy tucks like some kind of easy operation. It's all going on up there. There's a lot more to it. It's not just putting implants in and just cutting a bit of skin out with a tummy tuck. That's what I know that's what you think, but it's actually a lot of thought goes into it. A lot of thought goes into the nuances of it.